Podcasts on UNCTV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
For more than 20 years, The Communicator has been bringing residents of Elkin and the Yadkin Valley region news and information about this area of North Carolina. The Communicator is published by WIFM radio owner Gary York, who recently stopped by our studio to tell us more. Gary York, welcome to North Carolina Now.
It's an honor to be here, Shannon.
You are the owner of WIFM Radio in Elkin. You are also a member of the Board of Trustees for UNC-TV.
And a grateful member.
In addition to all of that, you also publish a monthly newsletter, The Communicator, which you have been publishing now for more than 20 years.
Yes.
First of all, tell us about The Communicator and the idea behind it.
In 1990, I was quite a self-help person trying to get ahead in life, and there was an audio series by Earl Nightingale called Insight, and it would come every month. And one of his publications mentioned that a great way to connect with people and to be involved in a community is to write a personal newsletter. So I just chose one month to start talking about people whose lives matter, those who are reaching out, folks who have servants' hearts, folks who've had a great game or had an honor or just that unsung hero maybe in the background. So from that, I would, when I would meet a person, and in my thank you note, I would include a copy of The Communicator. And then I would add that person's name to the subscription list. And that's how it got started. And then I would meet people, and you know, some of the folks that we communicate with today have been receiving The Communicator for 21 years. And so, and a little bit more about how it happens. For instance, this morning in exercise class, one of my friends, Megs Needham, mentioned about a legendary baseball coach in our Pilot Mountain community. His name's Barry Hall, and said that Barry Hall's had, I think, 37 years as head coach there and has won 700 games, just an icon. And he said that when he played for Barry Hall, that he found that the harder you worked, the more playing time you got. And so I'll use that. That's one of my stories I've already, and I have a little, I'll pick a page in my daytimer, and I start to add these names. And when I see the name, and then maybe around the 20th of the month, I'll take a Saturday and start early in the morning and write stories. And they're usually 2 paragraphs and about 200 words, and there'll be 20 or 25 stories. So, and we only do positive stories. I'm looking for heroes, you know, those folks, again, whose lives or whose journeys are contributing to help others. So that's how we got going.
What do you hope your readers, now for more than 20 years, have learned about the Elkin community and your entire region through the stories that you've been able to publish?
I think they realize the importance of enthusiasm, of hope, of having a servant's heart, reaching out and giving, that these are the things that pull this community together. So I've been blessed in so many ways to have so many good friends and people who share with me life and the essence of good things. And so that's, our community is a challenge like all of us are today. But you know, we have great tourism right now. We have the wineries. We have the Andy Griffith Museum. The first year was open, Emmett Forrest and Tanya Jones and that group. The first year is open, had 55,000 people registered the first year. And so it's a huge project of $650,000 that was raised, some from the state, but most of it on a local basis, and this in Mount Airy. So that's part of what we're doing.
And I know another story we've covered from your part of the state on North Carolina Now is looking at transportation.
Yes.
And how you have a unique partnership in your part of the state, which is bringing public busing to Mount Airy and the surrounding areas as well.
An incredible success. My dear friend Brent McKinney about 10 years ago, and with some federal, state, and local funding, started PART, which is a Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation, and a beautiful, always clean black buses with a red part on the side. And they, he told me just last week, as I was talking to some of his groups, that the top ridership, or the largest occupancy, if you will, always has a hero. And this hero for our local in Pilot Mountain, where I live with my wife Charlotte and Dr. Flippin's Bed and Breakfast, we have 2 lots there. And most of the time there'll be 150 cars in those lots. And Tim Childress is the local hero, and he rides every morning and kind of rallies the people around. They become social friends. They become like family. And he gets off downtown, works at Reynolds, and comes back to Pilot Mountain each night. And so the park groups come up with a new saying, developed it this last week. It's a guaranteed ride home. So public transportation is, you know, taking a lot of dollars that people were spending on automobiles, and so it's just a huge success. And the Mount Airy, Pilot Mountain, Winston-Salem part of that is just over the top, so to speak.
And one of the themes in the communicator, which is also carried out at your radio station, is that theme of the local community and giving back to the community. How have you been able to do that through broadcasting in the radio industry?
Okay. In 1998, I got involved in radio and was just really hooked on it. The first day I had an opportunity to be on the air, and we did a program called People Doing Good for Others. And we're coming up on 13 years with that program. It's Saturday morning at 9:05. And I am again looking for those individuals that who just are in the middle of good things. And so I will call a person, as you've been my guest. You know, I'll call individuals, invite them to be part of People Doing Good for Others. Mark Pratt from Raleigh had a kidney transplant this year, and I've talked to him. A guy named Brian Parker, a high school dropout, who's chief of his fire department, now a college graduate, works with his kids at school, chief of the fire department. Just people like that who's, you know, they just make things happen. And Brian Parker, I saw him this morning as I was leaving Pilot Mountain to come down here, and you know, that uplifting spirit, the people who, it's just, they have that need to give, and they give and they give and they give.
And how does that translate in a very concrete way in your community in terms of charity, philanthropy?
Well, one of the things we've, in the last 5 years, we had a golf tournament there in the Elkin to honor the Elkin Rescue Squad. Folks who serve 24/7, we have 26 members, and so Neighbor Stores, another one of our affiliates, and my wife with Dr. Flippin's Bed and Breakfast, Charlotte, and folks in the company staged the golf tournament in a very crucial time for the rescue squad. And in our 5th year, we raised $54,000. So this sense of charity is, it's opened doors for me too with WIFM. You know, there's a lot of folks who welcome me in today that maybe we're a little bit hesitant before this charity. So charity opens a lot of doors for people, and you need to have a servant's heart and want to give back in a special way. So that's what it means.
Finally, if our viewers want to catch up with the work you're doing with the communicator, with WIFM, and your community in the Elkin area, what do they need to do?
Well, it's www.neighborstores.com if you want to be a communicator subscriber. And you know, the stores are local, but the nature of the stores are universal. And you might not know the name, but there'll be, if you read about the people that I encounter every day and my wife encounters, you'll know that, that there are people who are making a difference, you know. And so when we came to WIFM in 2004, we pledged to do 2 things: to be community advocates and be voices for people, and to be great listeners. So that's what WIFM is, a local advocate. I think the top local sports program in America. and we also have great local news and live DJs from 6 to 6. So it's an amazing part of our community. I think it's a great asset in the Yadkin Valley.
Well, Gary York, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your community as well.
Thank you for honoring us today, Shannon. This is just a wonderful opportunity, and I'm grateful to be here and sitting with you today and share with people that make WIFM and UNC-TV so very special.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.